Good morning. Welcome to the 21st Annual Joint Summer Service, this year hosted by First Church Unitarian in Littleton. My name is Cindy Malley. My pronouns are she and her. I am a middle-aged, plump white woman with graying brown hair and glasses wearing a bright pink FCU church t-shirt. And it is my privilege to serve the Littleton congregation as its current senior deacon. Some of you may be asking yourself, what's a deacon doing at a UU congregation? Because I know we are a little bit unusual. In this church, deacons are elected, and we are responsible for the spiritual well-being of the congregation. Congregation is such a cool thing, right? We are a vibrant, diverse group. This service began with just 3 UU congregations, but we are pleased to welcome 13 different congregations here and online today. Each of these congregations have different bylaws, traditions, leadership ways, and just ways of being. And this service tries to reflect those differences. Yet, we are all Unitarians, we all hold to the same values, and we all have love at our centers. And I am so honored to welcome you all here today. Now I get to give you a couple logistical announcements. If you are with us in the sanctuary, please join us for refreshments following today's service through this door, down the stairs, and to the left in our vestry. Since there are a lot of you, there are multiple ways to get there. You can also go out through the front of the church and to the right, up through our handicap accessible entrance, or out the doors to the left and up our driveway, and that'll take you near the vestry as well. Also, you can flex your activist tendencies by joining some of us in our Get Out the Vote campaign by going just a little further down the hall to a room we call the Alliance Room. Materials and people will be there to answer any questions you have. This is a nonpartisan letter writing project hoping to make a difference in the upcoming election. Today's offertory will be given in its entirety to the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, another organization working hard to make our world a better place. And finally, we ask that you take out whatever electronic attention getter you have on your person and please put it in silent mode or worship mode, if your congregation calls it that, as we enter together in the spirit of worship. Welcome to church.
Good morning. My name is Lara Hoke, pronouns she, her, and I'm so happy and lucky to be the minister serving this congregation where some of you are sitting, the First Church Unitarian in Littleton, Massachusetts. And we are so happy and honored to host this service and to welcome you all. We cherish your presence among us just the way you are. So thank you so much for being here. And I invite you now to center yourself as our joint choir comes to sing our Introit.
Inside
Please join with me in saying the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another. And please join me in our sung affirmation. Please be seated.
The Poetry Foundation on their website says, "Poetry is necessary and sought after during crisis." Our first reading is by Allison Adele Hedged Cook. She is a poet, activist, and professor of creative writing at the University of California, and mentor and teacher of Native Americans in reservations, urban areas, and many other settings. Her poem uses the image of a woman singing to her child and waiting for the child to grow and mature. We have edited the poem for the sake of time.
America, I Sing You Back by Allison Adele Hedge Coke. America, I sing back what sung you in. Sing back the moment you cherished breath. Sing you home into yourself and back to reason. Before America began to sing, I sung her to sleep, held her cradleboard, wept her into day. My song gave her creation, prepared her delivery. My song helped her stand, held her hand for first steps. My song comforted her as she battled my reason. As she pushed herself away, forced me to remove myself, as I cried this country, my song grew roses in each tear's fall. But here I am, here I remain, high on each and every peak, carefully rumbling her great underbelly, prepared to pour forth singing. Never silenced unless in the company of strangers singing, the stoic face, polite repose, polite while dancing deep inside, polite mother of her world, sister of myself. When my song sings aloud again, when I call her back to cradle, call her to peer into waters, to behold herself in dark and light, day and night, call her to sing along, call her to mature, to envision, then she will quake herself over. My song will make it so. When she grows far past her self-considered purpose, I will sing her back, sing her back. I will sing. Oh, I will, I do. America, I sing back what sung you in.
I invite you to join me now in the spirit of prayer and meditation. O source of love eternal, thank you for this day unique from any other. We give thanks for the summer sun that offers us tomatoes and the darkness of night illuminated by fireflies. We give thanks for the traditions of our faith, for a chance to connect here this morning with friends old and new in fellowship and in song. Source of mystery, you have given us little instruction other than to be present in our own lives, to feel wonder at the creations of the universe, and to love one another. You have put gifts and challenges in our paths, joys and sorrows, strengths and frailties, some of which we have already encountered, and others we have yet to discover. On this unique day, may we receive exactly what it is that we need. Spirit of love, save us again and again from our too small vision, from our obsessions, our fear and cynicism, and the tight fist of isolation. Help us to release what is not ours to carry, and help us to carry the burdens of a neighbor in need. We gather this morning in hope that those we love will feel our love, and that our own limitations will hurt no one. We gather in determination, knowing that our nation and our world is in a time of terrible confusion and hate, and that we too are part of the change that is to come. Help us to be brave and to turn towards one another in curiosity and collaboration. And we gather in awe because what we know will always be dwarfed by what we do not. Open us to all we hear and feel today, O love, to hold us steady in the hour of our own uncertainty, or to help us to stand with someone else in theirs. And we pause now in silent witness for the many quiet longings of our hearts. Amen.
And welcome to my wonderful colleague, the Reverend Megan Lyons, who is now serving the Harvard Unitarian Universalist Church. And welcome to Jesse, too. Nicely done. It is the tradition, as Cindy noted, of the joint summer service to give our offering to the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. Dating back to 1939, the UUSC has worked to advance human rights and social justice around the world. Any loose cash that you put into our offering plates that come around will go to the UUSC, or you could put a check in made out to the UUSC. Or if you wish, and this goes for those with us online as well, you can go to the website uusc.org and donate there. This morning's offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation.
CNN interview of Rachel Maddow of MSNBC by Oliver Darcy of CNN. It's entitled Truth. The original version of the interview first appeared in the Reliable Sources newsletter published in June of 2004. Oliver Darcy asked, "Do you believe that truth always wins?" Rachel Maddow responded, "I believe that nothing is inevitable, and the worst and the most misguided of us can change for the better, and that everyone can change for the better. If you have ever wondered what you would do if you were called upon to help your country, that alarm bell you have been hearing is meant for you and for us. Now is when you give your answer."
Thank you, Elinor. Indeed, what can you do to help your country? Because make no mistake, Maddow is right. An alarm bell is sounding. With apologies to 16th and 17th century poet and cleric in the Church of England, John Donne, "Sin not to know for whom the alarm bell tolls, it tolls for thee." Yes, there's the current election. It's on everyone's mind. Today I want to say, though this election is critically important, and while we're all very, very concerned, with good reason, about its outcome, the outcome is only one part of the matter at hand. Because the alarm bell I'm hearing is that we citizens and residents of the United States of America are dangerously divided, not so united at all. And whatever the outcome of the 2024 election, we will still be dangerously divided. While some people fear that the alarm bell might signal a literal civil war, I don't personally feel that that's likely. I agree with Maddow that nothing is inevitable in any case, and that the worst and most misguided of us can change for the better, and that everyone can change for the better. And it's as central to our faith as anything I can think of. We believe that every person has inherent worth and dignity, and I don't want to write anyone off, even though I know it's incredibly tempting to write some people off. That's not what our faith calls us to do. There's a Polish proverb which has become popular in recent years. You've probably heard it. It is, "Not my circus, not my monkeys." Today I want to consider the fact that this is your circus. This is our circus, and those are our monkeys. And we're monkeys too. We're all in this together, truly, and we must envision and work toward a more compassionate future. The path of compassion, feeling passionately with others, is possible. The late Protestant minister and author Frederick Buechner wrote, "Compassion is the sometimes fatal capacity for feeling what it's like inside somebody else's skin. It's the knowledge," he says, "that there can never really be any peace and joy for me until there is peace and joy finally for you too." Or to quote the slogan, Nobody wins unless everybody wins. And I know that sounds really hard, to put yourself inside somebody else's skin, to live as though there's no lasting peace and joy for yourself unless everyone also has peace and joy. But all the monkeys in our circus need to win. For me to win, for you to win. How do we work toward this path of compassion? One saying I often think of is attributed to the Buddha. Imagine that every person in the world is enlightened except you. Which strangely enough makes me think of something I saw online. When you put your underpants on inside out, the entire universe is wearing your underpants except for you. So maybe imagine that you've been given an enlightenment suit, but you're wearing it inside out, and the entire universe is enlightened except for you. Imagine the Buddha is credited with saying that everyone else is your teacher, each doing just the right thing to help you learn patience, perfect wisdom, perfect compassion. We could learn a lot from the other monkeys in our circus. Now, please don't misunderstand. The Buddha said, imagine that every person is enlightened but you. I don't think that's actually true. I don't think you're really wearing an inside-out enlightenment suit, though some of you might have your underpants on inside out. I don't know. I think that the Unitarian Universalist vision and our values with love at the center is a wonderful vision. We have wonderful values. There's a reason that I've devoted most of my adult life to Unitarian Universalism. But that doesn't and shouldn't mean that I can't talk with others who think differently. And it doesn't and it shouldn't mean that I can't learn something from anyone I meet. I'm sure I can. And I can't be compassionate if I don't allow for that learning and welcome it. I know that some of us in marginalized groups are not always going to feel safe entering every conversation, and I honor that. I do. I'm not asking you to throw safety or caution to the wind, and I know there can sometimes be real harm. But when you deem the situation to be safe, including the assessment that you're feeling centered, I invite you to engage with those who think differently from you in the spirit of loving kindness and radical curiosity. And I want to be clear also that some beliefs and some behaviors deserve our judgment, our merciful and compassionate judgment perhaps, but judgment nonetheless. Every person has inherent worth and dignity, but not every belief, not every behavior is worthy or dignified. It's an important distinction. Perhaps some of you have heard of the philosopher Karl Popper, who coined the paradox of tolerance back in 1945. For Popper, if you're tolerant to the point that you tolerate intolerance, and if we follow that to its logical conclusion, the Nazis win. That was his context in 1945. Tolerance up to a point is a virtue, but unchecked tolerance, unquestioning tolerance is not a virtue. We are still fighting the good fight, but we need to do more to communicate with and perhaps even win over those who disagree with us on important things. To the extent possible, our faith asks us to tolerate, even if we can, to understand, maybe sometimes even love the person, but not to tolerate the hateful belief. Makes sense? Tolerate the person, not the hateful belief. 13 years ago, at the Unitarian Universalist General Assembly of 2011 in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Ware Lecture was given by Karen Armstrong. Armstrong is a scholar of comparative religion, a renowned author, and a former nun. And as she put it in her Ware Lecture, each one of our major faiths has at its core the ethic of compassion. As challenged as we can be at times to find compassion for our neighbor, what about other people that we don't think are our neighbor? As Armstrong notes, the world religions all insist that you cannot confine your benevolence to your own group. You must have what Chinese sage called John I, a concern for everybody. Otherwise, she notes, as Jesus said, if you just like the people who like you, there's no merit in that. That's just group egotism. We cannot confine to people who share our ideology or ideals, she says. We must include everybody without exception. Love the stranger, love the foreigner, says Leviticus. Love your enemies, says Jesus. Reach out to all tribes and nations, says the prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. As I learned more recently from studies featured in a National Geographic special, the more similar we are to someone, the more likely we are to help them. And studies also show that we are more apt to give money to a person on the street, the more like us we perceive them to be. So early religious and spiritual teachers were right, that the real challenge and the thing that can set you apart morally is to feel compassion for and to be kind to those who are not as much like yourself, to those you don't necessarily perceive immediately to be your neighbor. All the great religious teachers tried to teach us that. In fact, everyone is our neighbor. The Samaritan might seem foreign to us, but she is our neighbor. Or as the great Sufi poet Rumi put it, I am you. That seems to be, at the end of it all, the key to being compassionate and to getting better at compassion, to see everyone's suffering as your suffering. Because really, it is. All else is illusion. There's so little difference between us, you and I. On a cosmic scale, we're the same. You and I and any other person on earth, the same, twins. We are all so much more alike than not. It's like the ancient Sanskrit word namaste. The divine in me bows to the divine in you. It's like the ancient Mayan word in Lakesh, the word used instead of the pronoun you. In Lakesh means another myself, or I am another you. We are all on spaceship Earth together, all on the same journey together around the sun, on the edge of the Milky Way, somewhere in the middle of nowhere in the vast cosmos. We must widen our circle of compassion to include at least humanity. That is a good start. I'm sure you're wondering what these compassionate interactions with those who think differently might look like. A few years back, I read a book titled The Righteous Mind: Why Good People Are Divided by Politics and Religion by Jonathan Haidt. Haidt is a psychologist and a professor of ethical leadership at New York University. One of the important insights I got by reading this book is that, as he puts it, intuitions come first, strategic reasoning second. What does that mean? Many of us in the Western world have this idea that comes from the ancient Greeks that our reason is the driving force in our lives. And Unitarian Universalists certainly celebrate human reason. But is our reasoning mind really in charge? And here I'd like to show you a slide. There's a Platonic image that Haidt describes where a charioteer representing reason and rational thinking is in charge of horses, which represent the passions, the emotions, the intuitions. The trouble is, he says, this isn't true, this isn't accurate. Instead, in the next slide, Haidt presents this image, the image with a small rider representing reason on a huge elephant, which represents intuition, the passions, emotions. We like to think that the little reasoning writer on top is in charge, but Haidt shows that the intuitive big elephant is actually large and in charge. Haidt writes, "You can't change people's minds by utterly refuting their arguments." Let me repeat that. You can't change people's minds by utterly refuting their arguments. Maybe you've noticed that. If you want to change people's minds, he says, you've got to talk to their elephants. We waste way too much time working on the rider of the elephant, often in vain. To me, the good news of Haidt's book is this: for all our flaws and disagreements, humans are uniquely able to care about other humans beyond just our kinfolk. We are capable of working together with shared intentionality, and even to be blissed out while doing it. And yes, there are a few caveats. For instance, as Haidt puts it, fascism is hive psychology scaled up to grotesque heights. But unhappy, isolated people are the most vulnerable to the appeal of fascists. Perhaps our goal should be, in part, to deploy our church resources to help create happier, less isolated people in our communities. All the more reason why it's important to talk to people with whom you disagree, even on pretty fundamental levels. We can disagree more constructively. Let's learn to talk with each other as though our fate depends on it, because really it does. Elephants, Haidt says, may be steered by the mere presence of friendly elephants, or by words spoken by the riders of those friendly elephants. So let's hang in there with each other. Let's avoid the temptation to mock and humiliate those with whom we disagree. It might make us feel good for a moment to have that witty, clever, mocking comeback or statement, but it doesn't get us anywhere. Short of abusive situations, let's hang in there on social media, in the real world, with people who think differently. Let's use the connections we do have with people, leaning in to let our elephants meet. I stand before you today as someone who is guilty of thinking very unkind thoughts about some with whom I've disagreed, and at times having mocked them, and I'm not proud of that. I do not think that's the right way. Today, I call on all of us to rise to our own high Unitarian Universalist ideals, remembering that absolutely everyone has inherent worth and dignity. This requires the spiritual practice of remembering the inherent value of all others. It does not mean compromising your values. It does not mean appeasement. It does not mean finding middle ground. It does mean communicating with those whom you disagree, but with compassion, elephant to elephant. If we are successful in connecting with the emotional elephants of those in our lives who think differently, then someday we can shift to the model satyagraha, which means holding on to truth or truth practice, a model created by Mahatma Gandhi and followed by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. After a time of connecting those emotional elephants, we might be able to communicate rational writer to rational writer, eventually talking about important values without dehumanizing people who think differently. Like Gandhi and King, we could then find pathways for redemption for those espousing hateful beliefs, and in the end, it would be a victory for all of us. The end game of Satyagraha is victory for all, not just for you, not just for me. The end game is beloved community. And so we have a lot of loving work to do. Together, we can sing America back. And all the while, we have to sing and speak and act from a heart of compassion with love at the center. As the Dalai Lama said, If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. May we practice until our compassion is perfect. Blessed be, and amen. Our closing hymn is number 1008 in the teal hymnal, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. And I invite you to rise in body or spirit. It is often the tradition in this congregation to hold hands. However, I know not everyone is comfortable with that. So I invite you, if you wish, if you feel more connected with the person next to you, and if they are comfortable too, to touch elbows or feet. Or if you're more comfortable, simply raise your hands and feel the energy between us and those who are with us online as well. Friends, we can have a more compassionate future. The future has not been written. We can lean in and let amazing grace do its job as we find our connections with all of humanity, because we are so much more alike than not. May we be blessed in these efforts. May they keep us in a holy place. And I invite you now to join me in our closing words, which we say together.
We have gathered in hope, worshiped in love, and lifted our hearts in peace. We go now to share these blessings with the world. Please be seated. Please join us in our vestry. Follow us down these stairs and around the hall, and let us know if you need help with the lift. We'll have fellowship and refreshments, and also, if you wish, join in the Alliance Room for our Getting Out the Vote effort.
And you should be the host.
Yes. Y'all can unmute if you want.
Thank you. Okay. All right, I'm unmuted. Oh,
Yes, we muted the rest of the